All right, we're back, and it's our weekly segment on a subject that I've just found completely fascinating, and I hope you have too. Talking about precious timber. We're looking at PreciousTimber.com. I'm introducing Alex Wilson, the Chief Executive Officer again, and I always want to have this disclaimer in that he's not an investment advisor. He's not giving any investment advice. It's not a specific offering, an offer to sell securities, or an invitation for offers to purchase securities. Securities may only be sold by exemption or registration. Important for me to get in, or you to get in every show. And Alex, here to join us. I want to give you the website first of all, because if you go to with no obligation, you'll find it fascinating. It's PreciousTimber.com. Alex, so nice to have you on.
Top of the day to you. Good morning.
Good morning. And a lot to talk about. We're going to concentrate on intake of food this morning. In a sense, we're going to talk about coconuts and coffee. And but I just want to open up here because I was thinking about it this past week. You might have answered it. But are there better times? Are there certain times of the year that it makes sense to invest in precious timber?
Agricultural investing, Tim, is really for a limited part of the population. It's generally for someone that's higher net worth, someone that has a longer term, someone that wants a continual, income from it too. So with regards to timing, not really a better time in the calendar, but obviously there's a better time for when you're rebalancing and you're looking at your portfolio, especially if you haven't ever thought of agriculture as part of your investment sort of focus. So starts with education though, because like anything, if you're not familiar with something, you're probably not going to invest in it. So get familiar first, get a good education. You can get that through our website. But that's for me, timing is just is really, it's not an issue on the calendar, but I think it should be taken seriously and get some good knowledge behind you before you make a move.
All right, I want to give that website out. It's PreciousTimber.com. PreciousTimber.com. All the contact information is there, and you get an investment kit, investment advice, and there's I can assure you there's no pressure. That is not what this is about. If you are one of those investors, this could be perfect for you. Today, what are we going to talk about today? You want to talk? I keep thinking about coconuts and coffee, especially since our last show.
Yeah, well, we've talked a lot about timber. I thought today would be a good move to open up the coconut world because it's really a fascinating place, Stu. Because years ago, when I was a kid, of course that is years ago, I remembered coconuts at Grandma's house, coconut macaroons, and I can remember when we would go to the seaside, as we called it in England, and the sun was out, which was a rare occurrence. Mom would put some suntan lotion on our skin, and I remember the smell of coconuts there. But that was really it. Of course, about 15, 20 years ago, coconuts started to get used in various ways and multitude of ways. And today, here we are, you go down the supermarket aisles and you'll see coconut in hundreds upon hundreds of different products, but not just, food related, but cosmetics too, even biofuel, pet foods. And the one that really is kind of striking is the medium chain triglyceride that's inside the coconut oil is found to have tremendous benefits for Alzheimer's, for dementia, and for Parkinson's patients. Now, that's not yet scientifically proven, but there's a lot of work going on in the medical arena to see just how effective that is. So the coconut's a fascinating commodity.
When you look at coconuts, what percentage of your business is related to that? Just the timber and the coffee?
I would say 20% of our plantings are coconuts. We got into the coconut world just about 4 years ago. It took us a little while because I'm slow to react to things. At first I thought it might be a fad. Second of all, we don't like to take on too much risk. I mean, we're very low-risk guys. The coconut's a very hardy tree. It produces of course, coconuts every single year. The fascinating part about it is, of course, it grows relatively quickly, so you get production in the first 3-4 years, and then it's producing for 60 years. So from an investment perspective, it was very attractive for us. You know, you can get a nice return, and you know, some people like a lot of rental property. I like real estate too, but this is a real estate play as well. It's just agricultural real estate. You kick off a good income, but you have no toilets, no troubles, and no tenants to worry about.
Good point. Never thought of that. What are genetically superior trees?
That really, you know, the three varieties that we work with are the Brazilian greens, the Malaysian yellows, and then the hybrid version, which is a mixture of both. They call Maipans. Now, most people think of a coconut, and they think of that little brown coconut that they see at the supermarkets where they're paying $2 and $3 for it. We're not growing those. We're growing the very large ones, much larger, 3 and 4 times larger, and they're mainly used in the water industry, of course, for the oil, definitely for the desiccated coconut. But the shell of these coconuts gets ground up, and that forms activated carbon. The U.S. is the #1 user of activated carbon in the world, and activated carbon is primarily used for water filtration. So those are the varieties that we grow, the Brazilian green and the Malaysian yellow.
Yeah, I'd love to continue along this line. Maybe we could go back to it. If we don't, we can pick it up next week. But the coffee is the most fascinating. I'm not a coffee drinker. I like the smell of coffee. I'd have it at a wedding. But it's so dependent upon so many things, the environment, the cost, demand around the world. Is this kind of a harder category to control?
Not really, because obviously coffee is grown in one band across the planet. It's the band between Capricorn and Cancer. The U.S. is the #1 consumer of coffee. We can't even grow a single coffee bean here. But yes, weather patterns, in other words, rain, if there's a dry spell, if there's a drought, then of course supplies can be pinched and challenged. Of course, the price goes up then. But generally speaking, because there's quite a few countries that are growing now, we have, you know, a pretty good quantity of coffee. The level of production is high, but it's you know, it's the second most globally traded commodity after crude oil. So it's a huge commodity. And what's putting pressure on coffee actually right now is the fact that the Asians and the Indians, where they used to be stabilized on a cup of tea in the morning and throughout the day, they've now turned to coffee. So it's a great asset to have in your portfolio too, because once again, if you want long-term income and long-term capital appreciation, a tree doesn't care about what's going on in the economy. A tree's going to produce what it biologically is meant to produce.
If someone invests in an initial conversation after being qualified, after expressing interest, and yet there's naivety and they don't know where to spread the investment asset to timber, the coconut, the coffee part of it, well, you already said coconuts are 20% of the business. Do you base it on that appropriation?
No, I always every client that we take on, first of all, has to fit for us, and we have to fit for them. We're very particular, like you said earlier. We're not in the selling business. We're in the relationship building business. Our clients are long-term clients. They have long-term goals, and so we start very simply with what are you trying to accomplish financially, and when would you like to accomplish it by? If you've got plans for family members and legacy investing too. So it's a detailed approach. It's a tailored approach. We work individually with people based on what they need and not just one size fits all.
All right. As always, trapped with the clock at about a minute or a little less to go, so I'll let you come in with a concluding statement.
Well, I would say this, Stu, if someone's intrigued, go on our website, go to precioustimber.com, maybe give us a call at 855-888-6288, but talk to us. First of all, get to know the space, learn more about it, and then see if it fits for you. Come on down, take a trip. We do trips every single year. We call them discovery tours, not sales tours, so that you can come and discover the space. And then after really getting some, like I said, that knowledge base, then you can dictate and decide if it's right.
All right, and, from everything I hear, a fabulous vacation spot and safe. Gotta say safe, maybe you first. Thank you so much, Alex. We're gonna see you back here next week.
Thanks a lot, Stu.
All right, Stu Taylor, taking a break.